time. So it's second Monday of the year. It's already like flying by. I first wanted to share, this is kind of a little bit of a side note, but I know we posted our final ranking last week. I don't know if you guys saw 261 in the network. Woohoo! But I thought the coolest thing about it was this is just how crazy Beachbody is. So it tells you like what the 200th coach, like how many points they earned for the year. And we earned 50 points more than the coach that was ranked number 200. So that's props to you guys. Like we should be up there. And that just means we have to help more people, change their life this year. So it's kind of exciting stuff. Obviously you guys know.
Guys, that's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Maggie. The health bet is rocking. You guys are rocking and rolling. Let's keep that moving. I think it's just such a great time of year to kick it off. Don't forget this month you get double dollars for your Success Club points for the trip next year. If you have any questions about it, just post it in the team page. I know it's a little confusing, but it's way eons away. And then tomorrow night we have our coach sneak peek call. So if you have anybody you want to invite that you think would be an awesome coach, get them on that call and we'll chat with them. Cool? Any questions? All right. Well, Maggie, I'm going to introduce, for those of you guys that don't know, Maggie and I went to college together, and I've known her for a long time, but we really didn't get close until our coach pretty much quit. But that's the honest truth. And it's been nothing but such a joy to watch her transform into this leader. And she's going to kind of share about, over the past 6 months where her business went, from summit to now, which is really what I wanted her to focus on. Because I think this time of year, whether you're starting out new and you have all these fears of like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And then there's other coaches on our team that you guys have been doing this for 6 months to a year, and you're kind of trying to figure out, how do I get my groove back? How do I get back into the swing of things? So I think that this will be a great call. Maggie just finished 2-star diamond qualification, so she is going to New Leaders Conference with me in LA next month. And I think she's just proof that when you shift your mindset and you set goals and you run after them, you can totally rock this business. So I wanted to get her on this month because I was like, you're proof that, you can do anything in this business when you transform your mind. So take it away, girlfriend.
Well, thank you. That was so nice. So official. Still feels weird to be on other people's calls. So I'm excited to talk to you guys today. And I kind of want to start at the beginning. I will definitely focus on the last 6 months, Danielle, but I sort of want to tell you guys a little bit about myself, because I think I even go back to my own, how I started when I start talking to new people and start doubting myself or doubting the conversation that I'm having. I kind of go back to how I was in the beginning. And so when I signed up, I was talking to my coach, and she had reached out to me about something completely different. And I was like, oh, well, what about those challenge groups that you run? And so we started talking about it, and I was one of those people. I bought the 21-day fix, but not Shakeology. Of course not. It's too expensive. Doesn't actually work. I'm not doing that. So I just bought the 21-day fix, and then I jumped in 4 of her groups after just buying the 21-day fix. And that's fine. I mean, she never said anything to me. I made some awesome changes, and that was all good. But when I decided, sorry, my dogs are trying to come in. I'm also in the bathroom because it's the only place my internet works. Sorry. So when I decided to coach, it was when I saw her at Summit. I watched her and your posts, Danielle, all weekend long, and was just like, holy shit, this opportunity is real. These people aren't just sitting behind their computers, not actually interacting and learning and growing and really being a team. Yeah, seriously, hashtag why you need to go to Summit. And it's actually kind of funny that my coaching journey began at Summit, and then 1 year later, I'll get there, 1 year later, Summit is what changed my business again. So yeah, go to Summit. If you have any question, like just freaking do it. So I watched them all weekend and I was like, all right, I need to jump in. And when I signed up to be a coach was the first time I ever tried Shakeology. And, you know, from the beginning, it was kind of like, okay, your first goal is to hit Success Club. And I was like, all right. So like I reached out. I wasn't comfortable with inviting yet. My coach didn't really invite. And so I reached out to people that I was just friends with, you know, like my family basically, or my close friends. I wasn't on social media inviting. And so I did hit Success Club my first couple months, my first several months as a coach. But I'll get to that later. My business changed a lot when I started really taking control of it and really actively inviting. You know, one of the things that I've kind of learned is you can sort of sit and wait for it to come to you, and maybe it will, and that's great, and go you. You're clearly good at posting on social media, but it's not going to come to you in a way that's going to change your life. You have to be proactive and, you know, take the business for what it's worth and really do it. So that was kind of like my first couple months. I was consistent. I was hitting Success Club. I had a success partner. We ran challenge groups together. It was all great. You know, I felt that the opportunity, like no matter how much money it was bringing into my life, like it was bringing me happiness. It was bringing me positivity. I was in the best shape of my life. So, you know, the reasons that I went into it, they were all there. And so I kind of coasted. I didn't dream big about the business at all. I didn't really push myself hard. I did what I needed to do to hit Success Club and to get my shakes paid for every month. And I enjoyed it and I was having fun. And so to anyone who's there, like if you kind of feel like that's where you are, that's great. Like I was very happy. Like I would not change, you know, I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't say I was doing anything wrong. I was happy. I was very content. I was helping people. I was seeing a lot of change in people's life, and it was awesome. So it's all, you know, it was all well and good. A little background about myself. I'm an occupational therapist, and I worked full-time with kids, and then I also worked part-time with adults on the weekends randomly. So I was extremely busy, which I'm sure a lot of you are also. And I think that I didn't dream about the business because I felt that I was different from people who quit their full-time jobs for Beachbody, because they all talked about how much they hated it. They all talked about, or at least what I was seeing being talked about, was that they quit their full-time jobs because they hated them. And I didn't feel like that was me. So I kind of had this wall up that was like, you know, I don't hate my job. I actually love what I do. So why would I dream big about Beachbody? Because it's never going to be anything real. You know, I have to like keep it at an arm's distance and just keep doing me. So that's kind of where I was, and, you know, blissfully ignorant at the opportunity of it. So I was there. And then, like Danielle mentioned, my coach quit. And, you know, it was kind of crappy circumstances. I'm not gonna talk about that, but for me, it was really hard. She was the person who brought me into this business. She was the person that I really checked in with, and she left the business. So I was kind of in a place like, what do I do now? You know, who's my motivator? Who's my driving force? And then I sort of had a kind of like parting of ways with my success partner. And we just had, to be honest, she was more gung-ho about the business and was doing more with it. And, you know, if I'm being honest, I was a little defensive. I was like, all right, you're pushing me a little too hard. And so we kind of parted ways, and I stayed. Never like explained it like this, but it's true. I sort of stayed like in my own little box. Like I didn't have an upline that I knew and trusted anymore. And my success partner and I weren't really in communication. So I had my team, and my team was great. Let me see what you said, Danielle. Proof it's normal to have multiple success partners throughout your journey. Yeah, it is. Because, you know, I think part of this journey is that we grow and we change as people. You really can't expect to come into the business and 5 years down the road be the exact same person you were when you started. Or you guys probably aren't doing something right. You need to be growing and changing and, you know, just letting those things impact who you are. So yeah, I definitely think, like, don't be discouraged if, you know, your first success partner wasn't your soulmate. Life goes on. And I think that's something that's so wonderful about our team, our bigger team, which I did not know at the time. So falling out with my success partner, my coach quit. And I was like kind of surface level friends with everyone on Strive Forward Nation. But I didn't really I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't know anyone very well. And I really just wasn't dreaming big about the business. So in my first 3 months in the business, I qualified for a Success Starter. So I hit Success Club the first 3 months, and I had a free summit ticket. And I kept putting it off. Like, all of this was going on right around the time that everyone was getting hotel rooms and getting plane tickets and doing all the things to prepare to go. Yeah. Are you in month 1? You're in month 1, right? Nice. Where are you right now? Okay, that's okay. Guess what? This is such a good month. This is such a good month. But seriously, push for that because it is so worth it. I'm going to be like a broken record tonight. Like, Summit's a life changer. So push for that. That's awesome. So I wasn't doing anything to prepare to go. I actually signed on and registered, but I didn't buy a plane ticket. I didn't get a hotel room. I didn't take off work. I didn't do anything I needed to do to be there. And it's like that cliche story. I still don't really know what it was that was pulling me there. But I was at work on Thursday, and I typically work till 7 o'clock at night on Thursdays in Pennsylvania, 14 hours away. Yeah, basically I just wanted a drink. And I'm seeing everyone's pictures, and I'm like, what am I doing? The whole team is still there, just because the people that I depended on most aren't really, there right now for me. There's still a team. That's the whole freaking point of having a team. And something was just pulling me there. So I told my boss I was leaving, and I got in my car and I drove to Nashville. And I arrived at 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday, went straight to the core and shopped. Anyways, so I got to Summit, and I saw everyone. I met people for the first time. It's so cool getting to know people online, but it is even cooler getting to meet them in person. So I got to meet people. I got seriously inspired. Danielle, if you've ever been with her in person, is so awesome at talking to you about your goals and your business and what you want out of it. And I was like, shit, I don't even know what I want. I have no clue. I had no clue what I wanted, what I hoped for. I had no idea what was even possible. And it just lit a fire in my soul that weekend, hearing from people who started, from where I was or way before where I was. And it was so neat to hear their stories and to hear the things that they had done to get where they were, and just to know that it was possible. It sometimes just kind of feels like you're this little tiny person and there's all these huge people, and how could you possibly ever get to where they are? And I'm not where they are either, but I've grown a lot, and I really do think that the biggest thing was being there and getting inspired and really going for it. So I left that weekend, and I worked my butt off then to qualify for Rachel's Diamond Retreat, which was another event So before Summit, I had never been to an event, not a single event, not a Super Saturday, not nothing. I had been coaching for a year. I hadn't gone to anything. And I know, it's ridiculous. I was like just sliding by. So yeah, events are huge. And that weekend is really when I set goals. And I didn't set like broad, like silly goals, like not silly, that was rude. Like I didn't set broad goals that like have no benchmarks. I talked to a lot of people and like kind of figured out like, okay, this is where my business is now. And what can I do over the next like 6 months to get here and then here and then here and then here. So like you can dream big, but you have to set those steps and those framework pieces to really start to go somewhere. And so one of the goals that I set was hitting 2-star and getting to NLC. That was really my biggest goal. I didn't even know what NLC was before that weekend. But what that meant for me, so what 2-star meant was I run my husband's account. So I wanted to get him to Diamond, and I wanted one of my coaches to get to Diamond. And that was huge for me. Learning how to, what did Danielle say? New Leader Conference, you all are eligible to go next year. Yes. So the New Leader Conference is at Beachbody headquarters in LA. It is a like 2-day conference. You get to hear from Beachbody execs. If you earn enough points, you get a free hotel. And I think, I mean, I haven't been yet, but it seems like it's just going to be a really awesome learning experience. And how you earn it is by getting to 2-star in the year. So you have to be a paid 2-star. So you have to get past your qualification. So big thing there. I mean, really the big thing for me when I got back from Summit with that goal in mind was I need to start building my coaches, and I need to start recruiting coaches, but also like training my coaches more. I'm sure that my attitude of, you know, kind of like just get it done, just be there. You know, I was enjoying myself, but I just wasn't passionate like I am now. And after Summit, like seeing how excited my coaches were and seeing how pumped up they were, just like all of our energy helped us through the rest of the year. And so even if you don't want to go to Summit for yourself, go to Summit for like that girl who's watching, like I was the year before, and sees that this is real. Go to Summit for like a coach who signs up on your team who doesn't actually think it's real either, and you know, it's just kind of there floating along. Like it will give her excitement. So even if you don't go for yourself, like it will change your business. And it's so funny, Danielle, you told me that like 4 times. And I remember being like, yeah. I'm sure I'll get a couple extra Success Club points. It's not going to change my business. But you were right. So that was, yeah, seriously, eating my words for sure. In the best way. Like, I'm happy you said them to me. I'm sure those things like contributed to me feeling like I just needed to be there. So, you know, I left Summit, and, you know, I don't want to just tell a story tonight. I want to kind of like give you some action steps. So what did I do when I left Summit? One of the biggest things I did, I spent a really long time creating a training. And I'm sure I'll change my training 14 million times, but I created a 14-day training. And with Danielle's help, I started using Streak, which is amazing. And so I set up a training. So the second a coach comes to me and says they want to coach, like I have something in place. The way that I was doing it before was counting on my own memory to remember what I had told them and what I hadn't, which is so irresponsible. And I feel bad for some of my coaches in the beginning. So even if you don't have coaches yet, start creating a training system, a system to get coaches started right, so that when you do have coaches, you're not scrambling like I was. So that's probably one of my biggest pieces of advice. 2, go to events, like period, end of story, go to events. Amy, I met you at a Super Saturday, which was so fun. Like it was so neat being able to meet someone who's not even on my small team, but on the bigger team. So that was really cool. Okay, other things. I did make a list. Let me just like gather myself here. Okay, another thing I wanted to kind of talk about, like I sort of brought it up in the beginning, but you know, following up with people and not giving up on people, even if they maybe are wishy-washy in the beginning or say no, or, you know, just want to do part but not all. You know, be patient with those people. And you don't, this is a hard one. This is a personal decision. You don't want to let people take advantage of you, but you also don't want to be someone who just, like, if you don't purchase anything, period, you're not joining a challenge group. Like, you have to use your own personal judgment. I have had multiple people say, like, I can't afford it, period. So then they do the free trial, they get in my group, and then they realize the worth of it, and then they buy, you know? So don't cut yourself off to those people. Like, remember the people, remember their goals, remember why you're here, like, and that is to help people as well as grow a business, but it is to help people. So with that follow-up, then, like, even if they say they're just doing the free trial, even if they say they're gonna buy shakes once and then cancel them immediately, like, treat them as if they just said, I'm gonna order from you for the rest of my life. And just, like, great customer service, like, in your challenge groups, from start to finish, like, answering questions, being in there every single day, checking in every week. I know Danielle is like the queen of good systems, so I'm sure she's given you guys some systems to use during your challenge groups. But that is one way, like, to just follow up with people, to keep people. That's something I've seen a huge change in my business also. In the beginning, I was really good at recruiting, but I wasn't keeping people, and I couldn't figure out why. I really didn't evaluate why in the beginning, to be honest. But now that I look at it, it's like, well, I wasn't following up with them enough. I wasn't talking to them enough throughout the group. It was like, okay, I got you in here. I have my posts scheduled, and you're going to do great. I'm going to go back and try to recruit more people. And, like, when I think about it like that, it's really fucked up. And it's really selfish. And those were products of me kind of sliding along. And now it's like, you know, now that my mindset has shifted, I'm, one, you know, helping people more, and they're sticking with it, and they're staying with me, and they're turning into coaches then, which is where the real change happens. We all know that. And then two, like, my business is growing more because I'm actually paying attention to the people that I have. So yeah, sorry, I just, like, got off on a total tangent there. So then another thing, I'm sure you guys have, like, talked about this and heard about this, but when you are trying to build a business, when you're trying to get to 2-star next year for NLC, you have to recruit coaches. And the ways to do that, you know, my best way of finding coaches is in my challenge groups. And I think that's what's changed when I have been more present in my groups, is people see the real worth, and they see what a coach actually does. And I'm checking in with them, and I'm, you know, telling them how great it is that they are participating so much. And, you know, they're already doing these things that coaches do, and they'd be a perfect coach. Of course, I'm not lying to people, but those people that really stand out and really go the extra mile, like, I am pushing them about coaching, bringing it up multiple times, more than once. And a lot of them have transitioned to coaches. So that is something that's really going to change your business. Amy, when you leave, good to see you. Don't apologize. So, you know, following up with people who maybe don't come in the beginning, excellent customer service in your challenge groups, like, be present, be 100% reachable, and answer questions, ask questions. You know, don't just like all the posts in the challenge group, like, comment on them, ask for the recipe, ask how the workout went, you know, just, like, really be there for the people. And then work on converting those customers or discount coaches to active coaches. And then have a training ready. Whew, that was a nice little progression. Okay, let me look at my list again here. Okay, so I didn't say this either. A little bit more. Oh, here, let me see. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, is your health bet group, Danielle, your whole team? Yeah. So no matter who you're complimenting or who you're telling is doing wonderful and inspiring others, like even if it's not your coach, you're helping your team. And this, I mean, if I've learned anything in the last year and a half, it's that this business is a team business. So yeah, that's a great point, Danielle. Woo, Amy, I didn't even see that you wrote "See you in NOLA." That's awesome. So one of the other things, you know, we all know about power hours, but that's kind of something that I was doing a power hour. I'm not sure I was really doing the right things in my power hour. I would spend entirely too long creating my posts. I would literally spend 3/4 of the time like making these perfect posts and taking like 15 pictures and like making myself look perfect, which is like not what anybody wants to see anyway, so that doesn't help. But I think I really like got intentional about what needed to be in my power hour. And for me, like number one, I don't have my power hour list here, but I'll say like what I kind of do. Number one is like following up with the people that I already have. So going into my challenge group, following up with people like we just talked about, going into my group page, you know, posting something for them, talking to them about something, answering any questions, like those sorts of things. And then number two that I do, well, also with following up is like anyone I've talked to in the last little while, I'll kind of check in again. Number two, inviting. Huge shift as I started like connecting with more people on the team was, oh, everyone doesn't wait for everyone to come to them. I had no idea. And so, yeah, like you guys have to, I won't say you have to. I was still hitting Success Club, you know, like you don't have to do anything, it's your business. But I saw a huge shift in my business when I really started being proactive and I started inviting. And I think what changed for me was the value I saw in the products and in the programs. When I started having people stick around for more than one challenge group, when I started seeing real transformations in people, when I started having coaches start to run with the business, I was like, wow, like this really is an awesome opportunity. We have awesome programs. Like the shakes are game changers. The business opportunity is huge. So I think in the beginning, I didn't really believe in it. So I didn't feel comfortable inviting. And now that I have that belief, it's like, well, duh, I'm going to invite people. Like, it's like almost rude not to. Like, if I don't tell you about this, like I'm sort of holding it back from you. And I remember hearing people say that, but until I had the belief in like what it is that we really do here, I didn't invite. And when I did, it was kind of half-assed. So my advice to you wouldn't just be to go out and send a million invitations. My advice to you would be to get really curious about how much you believe in the products, how much you believe in the business opportunity, how much you believe in this team and the challenge groups and all of that. Really get in deep with that and figure out where you stand, because I think that's where it starts. And you have to come from that place of confidence in what you have to offer in order to offer it confidently. And the number of no's that I get has gone down so much, because of the way that I'm coming into the conversation. So I think that's huge. Okay, growing your market, also something I was not doing. I was a Beachbody coach for an entire year, and I wasn't adding friends. So all of the same people were seeing all of the same stuff, and I was wondering why my business was slowing down over time. So funny and obvious once you realize it. But you know, my coach had left. I didn't have anyone to talk to about this stuff, or I didn't know that I had people to talk to about this. So I started, actively growing my network. And what that meant for me was starting a fitness page, and, you know, doing some ads on there. If you're not there yet, that's okay. You know, also like doing friends lists. Danielle, do you do friends lists? Okay. So I don't know if she's explained that, but maybe she can another time. But basically when you make a friends list, you can, like purposefully or like more organized, in a more organized way, stalk people. So like when I add someone new, I add them to a list, and then I can go have a whole news feed that's just the people that are my new friends. And then I can kind of see like, would they be a good challenger? Would they be a good coach? And I'm interacting with their content then. You know, I'm liking them, commenting. And then in turn, because the creators of Facebook are sort of psycho, if I interact with them, they interact with me more. And it goes both ways. So that was huge. Growing my network was just a huge thing. Just adding friends. I wasn't doing that. So that would be a huge thing for everybody. Over time, like if you just have the same people looking at your stuff, your business is going to slow down for sure. So one thing I did with my coaches that turned out to be really cool. It started out as like a small thing, and then it kind of turned out to be awesome. I created a Google Doc, and if people were having difficulty in conversation, or basically when they were inviting and people were saying no, or if they got really far in a conversation and then they got a no, they were copying and pasting their whole conversation, removing the identifiers like their name and the person's name, and putting them in the Google Doc. And then the whole team would go in and type like in different colors and stuff so it wasn't confusing. But like I maybe would have said it this way, or like this is what I would have said here. And so I think it got us all really focused and more in control of our conversations. Because with a lot of people I was noticing it's like this little small tweak was making a huge difference in the way that their conversations were going. So, you know, look at your conversations, see if there's somewhere that that it always sticks, like that there's, you know, is it always the price? Is it always that people don't have time? Is it that people don't even respond at all to your first message? Kind of like get in there and like look at that and see what to make to your conversations in order to do that, in order to kind of have a better outcome. Okay, I'm totally off my notes. Danielle, do you have any like other things like that I didn't say, or things you want me to talk about?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I know my face is frozen for me. Did this last night. Sorry.
I can hear you fine.
Okay. Can you talk about, I think there was a time that you thought about quitting, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really go into detail about that. So I did think about quitting before Summit. And it was kind of in that time that I really didn't feel like I had anyone. I had my coaches, my team, but to be honest, like they weren't excited because I wasn't excited. And so I really considered quitting. You know, I thought about what would happen to my downline if I quit. Like I really like got into it and considered it. And what changed that really was Summit. And it was seeing that there was a bigger team out there. Like if you know, are struggling or you feel like you need someone different, like a new success partner, or even like Danielle, nothing against you, of course, but like if you're feeling like, okay, I need like a little different inspiration, like reach out to someone else on the team. We are all open. And that was one thing I never felt like I could do with my first coach. And that was a problem. Like I went to her for everything, period. And so what I got was one view. She was very successful, so it was a good view, but it was one view. And there are so many ways that people do this business and look at this business that there's no harm in reaching out to someone different. And you know, Danielle, I hope that's okay that I like speak to that.
Yeah.
but you know, there's just so many resources. And so just never feel like you're, you know, you're alone, or that you don't have anyone to reach out to. And so, yeah, I mean, I thought about quitting. And I think Summit really rejuvenated me. Setting goals really rejuvenated me. And really going for it. Like, it just was a mindset shift. And I think sometimes for people, it like takes that big thing. Like for me, it took Summit. But I wish that it didn't take Summit. I wish I had like really gone for it in April or May. Like I'd be 4 months even further than I am now. So while it's like makes for a good story that like Summit was a game changer for me, like don't wait for something like that if you need a jump start in your business. If you feel like you're listening to this and you're kind of like, I'm kind of in a rut, or, you know, I need a jump start. Like there's no reason that you can't just freaking wake up tomorrow or like, you know, tonight and really go for it. So if that's like something that you're thinking, like tell Danielle that. Like Danielle is probably one of those passionate people that I know. So I know that she would be so excited to hear anyone say that they, you know, want to make a change and want to go for it and, you know, and are ready to do that. So yeah, I mean, I'm really happy I didn't quit. Let's just say that.
I think we all are. And the other thing, guys, is you don't have to wait till Summit, because guess what? There's a resource called YOUTUBE. I didn't do the Google one. But seriously, my team knows that the way that I think a lot of us, and Maggie and I especially, since we didn't have that guidance, a lot of my business I've learned myself on YouTube from other coaches and studying and becoming a master of a lot of top coaches. So like go look at that elite leaderboard, pick a few names, go see who you kind of vibe with, and then go on their YouTube and watch their team calls and watch their trainings. But the important thing is you have to take action, because you could learn for hours and hours and hours, and that doesn't build your business, right? So I think, you know, you don't have to wait till Summit, because all the Summit videos from the last 3 years are on YouTube. So you could have your Summit experience literally tonight if you want it. You
still have to go to next year's Summit though. This year's Summit.
Yeah, of course.
Danielle, that makes me think of something. Okay. Because when Danielle and I were at the Diamond Retreat that Rachel held, I remember sitting there, and Danielle, I was sitting next to you. I don't know if you remember this. And I was just going like I was going between like being so excited and taking like all these crazy notes, and then being like, oh my God, how am I ever going to have time to like implement all of this? And Danielle, you said to me, you're like, Maggie, just pick one thing and do it. And then pick another thing and do it. And that was so huge to me. Like I got home and I did my training, did my coach training and like working on other things, you know? And so, yeah, don't be someone who watches those videos of top coaches and it paralyzes you. Like you have to take action, pick like what you think is the most important thing right now and do that. And then move on to the next thing. So that was just huge that you said that to me, Danielle.
Oh, well, thank you. Sorry, my face doesn't show it, but
it's okay.
Can you talk a little bit about maybe some failures and conversations that you've had? Like, you know, obviously Brianna's just starting out. She's trying to find her first challengers, and you know how that feels. It's always like, who's going to be the first one to say yes?
Yeah.
Also, there's some coaches on here that are pushing for diamond and ready to take it to the next level. So how do you kind of, you know, I know we all fail in our conversations, and I tell them all the time, if you're not failing, you're not doing this business. So can you kind of speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, it's not something like the messages and things, I think isn't something I normally talk about. But it happens all the time. Like I've had to like talk to my coaches because they're like, we're so discouraged. You know, we got this many no's. I'm like, I got triple that many no's last week. Like, you get no's like all the time. And I think one of the biggest things for me and how I handle that is in the beginning, when someone said no to me, I took it personally and I was like, crap, like they probably think I'm salesy. You know, they see right through me. They think this is all fake and they are so annoyed by me. And I was embarrassed. Like then I was embarrassed that I had reached out to them. And one of the biggest changes that I've made is that I lead with the invite and again, there's a million ways to do it. This is what has worked for me. I lead with the invite because, I lead with the invite. I'll like invite someone, you know, say like, hey, how are you? Something short, and then go right and invite them to a challenge group. Then if they don't say yes, if they say no, whatever, then I continue the conversation with them. And I'll talk to them for however long the conversation goes, even after I've gotten the no. And that's when like I catch up with them, I ask them about their life, you know. And to me, what the shift was, I was like just messaging people forming first, because I agree with like that mentality that you should form first. But for me, for some reason, it wasn't working. I felt that people knew where I was going with it. And so they kind of felt like my asking about their life was fake. And I just got a lot more no responses. And once I started just leading with, you know, the reason I went into a conversation, and then forming with them after, I have had so many people come back to me after saying no, feel comfortable reaching back out. So I kind of went off on a tangent there. But I think my points were, one, you can't take it personally. I've had people that don't respond to me at all, like nothing. And I'm like, crap, like, you know, you get that like feeling, you're like, oh, like they hate me. That was icky. And then I'll like see them 2 months later and they're like, oh shit, like good to see you. I totally forgot to message you back. Like, you tell me about your challenge group. I'm like, what? Like how, you know, like totally different outcome than I was thinking. And so I think just like remembering, like, don't take it personal. Like think about how busy you are. Think about how many times, I mean, now that we're in this business, we're much more intentional with our Facebooks than most people are. But even now, I'll read someone's message, like if I'm like at work or on lunch break or something and forget to respond back. And then it'll be like 2 weeks later and I'll see one of their posts on Facebook and I'll realize I need to go back and respond. So yeah, just don't take it personal. Everyone is, you know, living their life and there's multiple reasons why they didn't respond or why they said no, that probably have nothing to do with you. And then just make sure you're forming at some point, whether you do it in the beginning or the end, you know, form those relationships because that's going to be the most important, you know, the best way to build your business and to make connections. Did that answer your question, Danielle? Did that make sense?
Yeah. And something I always like to remember is like, think about how long it took you guys to say yes, because however long your experience was, that's who you're going to attract. And so you have to kind of think about, you know, that's what I think about in my posts. Like I didn't want to do coaching. And so I make an intentional decision to share openly about coaching because I know the person I'm attracting is going to think coaching is a joke. You know, if you guys thought that about challenge groups and it took you to 6 months to say yes, that's who you're dealing with. So the way that you speed that up is you post publicly about it. And I think Maggie's transitioned a lot to that as well. Like those objections are candy for you to give out. Like they're your content.
And that's, someone said that, I can't remember who, but basically like use your public Facebook as if you're private messaging your objections. So if you get an objection about price, make a post about price. If you get an objection about time, make a post about time. So use your page publicly to speak to those objections. Because then, I mean, if one person said an objection to you, there's probably hundreds out there who are thinking it and just haven't said it yet. So yeah, Danielle, that's such a good point.
I was the easy sell. I said yes in 2 days, but coaching, not so much. So just remember that. I have to constantly check myself.
I was a pain in the butt, so I know I'm going to have a lot of pain in the butt people.
Well, what questions do you guys have? Because it's not just me and Maggie talking. Is there something, you can type it in the chat if that's easier. Don't be bashful about what you want to know, because she's obviously built this to a good, stable place in a pretty short time. So I hope that that motivates you guys. Is there anything else specifically you want to know from Maggie? My team always gets quiet and then I call them out. Emily?
It's okay. You can think for a second.
You got anything? Go for it.
So when you were saying you lead with the invite, do you do that? Like, do you still lead with the invite if they're brand new people that maybe you just randomly friended on Facebook because of something you might have had in common with them?
So like you're saying like a random person versus someone I'm like friends with?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do still lead with it. I will maybe say something, because if I'm at a point where I'm going to invite them, I have already added them to a friends list. I've been liking some of their posts, maybe commenting on a post or two, seeing content that I think would mean that they're a good challenger or could be a good coach. And so I will usually say, like, lead with a statement about that. So I'll say something like, hey, so-and-so, I know we don't know each other that well, depending on who the person is. Or I know we haven't seen each other in however many years. But I love what you share about yada, yada. I'd love to talk to you about, like a challenge group or the coaching opportunity, depending on.
Okay.
And then same thing, like, even if I don't know that person, even if it was like a mutual friend kind of an ad, I'll still ask them questions. I'm like, so how do you know so-and-so? Or like, what are you doing now? And just kind of like,
right.
Just kind of start the conversation. Because then they're going to feel more comfortable if they do change their mind, reaching back out to me. If we've, kind of talked about like personal stuff, like talked about life stuff versus just like the invite and the peace out.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
It did, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So York said, what's the ratio of your posts in terms of coaching posts versus everyday life posts? That's a great question. That is something that's changed hugely. I had one of my friends tell me like a year ago that I never posted about coaching. And so I started being really intentional about it. And, let me think of a ratio. At this point, like, coaching to me is like even more what I love than like the challenge groups. So it's probably more coaching now than it is challenge groups. I post things I post about for coaching. I'll post about people on my team. I'll post about the challenge groups that I'm running versus like just my own workouts or my own, food or whatever. I'll post about like people in my challenge group, or I kind of use like the topics in my challenge group to like post about it. So if we're talking about, I have to post plan for the week about like yoga, about personal development. My challenge group is reading a personal development book this month, so I'm excited about that. So I'm going to post about that. So my ratio is probably, dogs take up like 30%. And then,
hey, dogs get a lot of likes.
They do. Dogs and husbands. Dogs and like family, huge. But then I'd say it's probably half and half. Maybe a little bit more coaching. Maybe a little bit more on the coaching side now. And I think it's hard in the beginning. I remember feeling like I didn't have anything to post about coaching. I wasn't making a crazy income yet. I wasn't, York, that's the first time I'm doing it. And so far everyone's really excited about it. I'm using the book. So I didn't feel like I had anything to post. And so I just didn't post. And what I would say to new coaches now is like, post about the things that you are getting from it. Like, think about what exactly you're getting out of coaching. Like, is your mindset changing? Are you happier? What's it like to have the support of a team? Are you more consistent? And then like, even little things like, are you making enough to like buy the groceries one week? Are you making enough to cover your shakes? A post I had that was huge, you know, a little into coaching was like, I held up my shake and like my car, and I was like, 2 things Beachbody's like coaching is helping me cover. So just like showing people, you know, even if it's small in the beginning, showing people what coaching is doing for you, with your health and fitness, with your income, with your just like life and overall happiness. Yeah, so maybe you guys can do like some sort of challenge of like, try to think of like 20 different things coaching has brought you and make a post about each or something. I don't know.
I like that.
I just rambled. But yeah, I think that my ratio has changed over time. As I've gotten more excited about coaching and gotten more passionate about it, I've shared more. And in turn, I have brought in more coaches. And I think that if I could do it differently, I would have started sharing about coaching much earlier, because that's what attracts coaches. So yes, it is forever changing. That's for sure. For sure.
Also, I'll tell you a secret. It's easier to post about coaching when you go to events because you're with people that also like to take as many selfies as you, and you stock up for the entire year.
That is so true. That is so true. Those are kind of like that. If you guys haven't read it, it's a great book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. It's a great book just about social media and how it works. And that was something that was a huge changer for me, was like, I felt like I was kind of in the zone. I was posting variety, but it was the same variety each week. And going to those events really turned out to be like the right hooks for me. They were what like kind of stopped people from scrolling and had them really go, oh wait, Beachbody's real. So yeah, find those right hooks, whatever they are for you. Those things that really bring people in and try to use them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Maggie. Do you guys have any other questions? This was super helpful. You guys
Good.
feeling motivated on a Monday? Well, I'm so thankful that you hopped on, and sorry it's a smaller crowd, but
Okay.
Clemson game is on, so some of my challengers are watching, or my
Yes.
kids are watching that. But I know that, guys, Maggie's just proof that like when you put your mind to this and you dedicate and you make the decision, like you can do it. You just have to find the people, and that just takes putting in the work. That's really all it is. So it's kind of exciting. So thank you again, Maggie. And
I hope it was helpful.
I hope you guys are ready to see selfies of us in LA so you can get some vision boards going for next year. Well, thanks, guys. Have a great week, Maggie, and I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.